Hi again, everyone, and welcome to our final Race to Decomposition check-in. During this final video, we will be checking on our jar's progress, thinking about what we've learned throughout the course of the race, and relating decomposition back to the bigger picture. It's now been about 3 weeks since we first put together our jars. As you might remember, my jar didn't do very well during the first week. This is largely due to the fact that I kept my jar in a dark closet and kept the lid on. After keeping my jar in a dark closet for a week, I remembered that the apple core I saw outside was impacted by both fresh air and sunlight. So the second week went much better. The apple began to decompose because it was now sitting on a windowsill and the lid was off. This meant that the apple slice was able to get heat and light from the sun, and it was also able to get some fresh air. This is the third time that we will check on my jar. Let's take a look. It looks like the soil is pretty dry since I haven't added any water recently, and my apple slice is almost completely gone. There's just a small brown piece of apple left. You might be able to see it. It looks like decomposition has continued during this past week. In fact, it looks like decomposition has happened very rapidly. I can still see a very small piece of my apple slice, but it has shrunk significantly. It seems like once my jar had a few more elements, the apple slice was able to decompose very easily, making the environment inside my jar, similar to the environment that apple core experienced outside, definitely helped the decomposition process. I'm now going to do some scientific sketching of my jar and jot down some observations so that I can compare what it looks like today to what it looked like a few weeks ago. This is what my drawing looks like this week. My jar and apple slice look totally different than they did when we first began this race to decomposition. It seems like we've learned a lot about the decomposition process and what it takes to allow for decomposition to happen. When I deprived my jar of light, heat, and air, the apple remained the same size and the jar began to smell horrible. The apple core that I saw outside on the ground was impacted by a few different things. First, it was impacted by the light and heat of the sun. Second, it was kept damp by the rain. Third, it was in fresh air. Fourth, there were organisms like fungi, bacteria, and invertebrates to help break the apple down. As we've experimented with our jars, we found that light, heat, water, air, and organisms are all crucial in allowing for decomposition to happen. Without the process of decomposition, my apple slice would have remained in my jar for a very, very long time. For instance, food that is thrown in the trash often makes its way to the landfill. Organic material is not able to decompose in a landfill because there is no water, air, or light in those conditions. This means that the organic materials remain in landfills for a very long time. Organic materials release gases when they're in landfills, such as methane and carbon dioxide, which have negative impacts on the environment and which smell really gross. Have you ever wondered why decomposition is so important? Why does it matter that the food we throw away just sits in the landfill virtually forever? Well, for one, it releases those stinky gases, which aren't good for the environment. But it also got me thinking, if we didn't have decomposition happening all around us, our waste would just pile up and up. Also, without decomposers, the nutrients that plants need to grow wouldn't return to the soil. Decomposition helps return organic material back to the earth so that the nutrients can be used again and again. Without the process, we would have a lot of waste all over the place. We've learned a lot about the different elements needed to support the decomposition process. Water, heat, oxygen, sunlight, and organisms are all really important for decomposition. And I definitely learned not to try and decompose my apple slice in a dark closet. Please send me updates on your jars to shannon@waggreenschools.org and let me know how long it took for your organic material to break down completely. I think mine will be gone completely in just a few days. I'm excited to see how all of your jars are doing. Thanks for participating in the race to decomposition. I hope you're all able to make a piece of organic material disappear. Bye!